Are you feeling overwhelmed planning your first trip to Paris? Come and see how we spent 5 days in the City of Love.
Paris really needs no introduction. This capital city is the heartbeat of France and has endless sights, restaurants and museums to go and see. This city is renowned for its timeless elegance, rich history and iconic landmarks, making it the perfect first stop for our trip through France. We visited some of the top hitters like the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre, while managing to fit in a couple of small day trips to Versailles and Champagne. Our favourite spot to stay in Paris is in the Latin Quarter. We just feel like this is a really central spot and has access to heaps of food and bar options.
On our first morning in Paris, we thought what better way to start the day than to have some crepes from Grace's favourite crêperie with the imaginative name of the Crêperie. It is located on the doorstep of the Odéon Theatre, so we got to enjoy a lovely view of this ornate building while we fueled up for the day.
First stop after some crepes was a walk along the beautiful River Seine. I just will never get over this view. Walking along the Seine is something that will fit into every visit that we do to Paris.
There is no more famous place in all of France, or perhaps even the world, than the Eiffel Tower. Each time we come back, we are still blown away by its scale and beauty. And if it is your first time to the city, it is certainly worth going up to the top and enjoying the panoramic views. Though as Grace and I have already done it before, and we are married so not in need of an unforgettable proposal location, we decided to avoid the queues and instead enjoy the tower from one of the best viewpoints, being Trocadéro. Located about 700 metres away from the Eiffel Tower, on the opposite side of the Seine, this viewpoint certainly isn't a secret, but despite the crowds it is worth a visit, and the distance allows you to get a full view of the Iron Lady in all her glory.
We cannot talk about Trocadéro without giving the Carette Cafe an honourable mention. The hot chocolate here is just to die for.
So we're a little bit hungover from last night and running late on our way to the Louvre, so we've got breakfast on the go, some croissants and chocolate croissants.
Yeah, pain au chocolat. We're on our way to do a guided tour of the Louvre because we're just never really sure where to go. It's actually Peter's first time and I wasn't sure exactly what to show him because it's so big and it's so overwhelming.
The Louvre is definitely one of the most iconic and well-known museums in the world, and while it's impossible to see all 38,000 pieces held within the gallery, we're lucky enough to enjoy the famous Venus de Milo sculpture and the Mona Lisa up close. While the queue for the Mona Lisa looks insane, it actually moves quite quickly, so don't be too put off when you enter the gallery room. Just finished up at the Louvre. We were on a 3-hour tour, which was one of the longer ones. A good amount of time, but I think that was enough to spend in there for me. I'm certainly not an art connoisseur, so it was nice to have someone explaining the history and the meanings behind some of the artworks and showing us some of the key pieces, which without them we might have missed.
After our visit to the Louvre, we rested our feet at Angelina's cafe. The interiors of this cafe feel like a fairy tale. Angelina's is a great spot for a hot chocolate as well, and the food here just never disappoints.
Palais Garnier, or Opera Garnier, was completed in 1875 and built during the reign of Napoleon III, and was intended to showcase the grandeur and artistic prowess of the Second Empire. Having been to Paris a couple of times before, we'd always run out of time to visit this incredible building, but for any first timers it is certainly worth adding to your must-do list. While the facade is impressive, the grand staircase which leads to the auditorium is one of the most beautiful we've seen. The staircase is adorned with marble balustrades, bronze lamps and ornate decorations. So we're here at Sacré Coeur, the second most visited landmark in Paris, and it's certainly feeling like that today. I don't know if it's a school holiday or something, it seems to be crowded with like tweens and kids, but it's the highest point in Paris when we get up to the top, but it's already such a beautiful day and such a beautiful church, that Catholic church. We'll go for a wander up, it looks beautiful so far. We're up at the top of Sacré Coeur and did a bit of research of where we might be able to see the Eiffel Tower from up here as well. And there was a viewpoint just as you come out of the funicular, which we walked over to get the funicular to the left. And it seems to be the dog park with one of the world's best views. It's made us miss our dog as well a lot being here. Surrounded by about 15 or 20 little puppies all running around. But we've just got a nice view of the Eiffel Tower as well. I just can't believe the last time Grace and I came here, it was early in the morning and we were pretty much the only ones around. it's a completely different experience now coming at about 3 o'clock on a Monday, when clearly everyone's out of bed and exploring, and for some reason, as I mentioned earlier, maybe it's school holidays, but it seems to be heaps of young kids up here as well, and teenage kids, but guys busking behind me with some good music on the violin as well. It's really cool, great experience to come up here. So we've gone about 10 minutes away from Sacré Coeur, trying to continue our hunt for good views, and we found this rooftop here at a place called Terrass. Overpriced drinks, but when you got a view like this, who cares? You can see the Eiffel Tower over off to the right.
Musée Rodin is a museum dedicated to the works of renowned French sculptor Auguste Rodin. The gallery and pieces are not only within the museum building itself, but also spread out through the impeccably maintained serene gardens. We had perfect sunshine, so couldn't have picked a better day to spend a couple of hours strolling through the gardens and seeing the famous masterpieces such as The Thinker and Gates of Hell.
We booked our tickets for Versailles online, and it was an easy 50-minute train trip from Paris to get there. Versailles is the former royal residence of the French royal family, including the infamous Marie Antoinette. This chateau was built in the 1600s and is superbly restored. More than 15 million visitors come to this palace every year, making it one of the most popular tourist attractions in the world. Our favourite rooms in this palace was the beautiful pastel queen's bedchamber and the breathtaking hall of mirrors.
So we've just come out of the palace now, and it was absolutely incredible. We've been in a lot of palaces now, and I think the opulence and grandeur of every room we went through was so impressive. Certainly up there, one of the best that we've been to. And now I've got some macaroons from Louvre. Ladurée. There we go, Ladurée. And now we're going to go explore the gardens and eat some.
After Versailles, we made the short walk over to Trianon, which is a chateau that was built as a retreat away from the primary palace by King Louis XIV. This was well worth the effort. We might have even preferred this chateau to the more popular palatial areas of Versailles.
Just finishing up our time at Versailles now. We're at the Petit Trianon, and we really enjoyed the Trianon just because Versailles was so crowded. It was definitely worth doing, but we really felt like, especially at the bigger Trianon, that we got to spend some time in the rooms without feeling pressure to move on really quickly. It's just gorgeous. It's really nice weather here in April. It doesn't feel too hot to explore. But definitely wear comfortable shoes. I think by the time we get back to the train station, we would have walked about 15 kilometres. So.
Yeah, we got you some new comfy shoes yesterday. Yeah. We've certainly broken them in. But it has been special though. Certainly worth the day trip from Paris.
Being big fans of sparkling wine, we were super excited to jump on a train and head for a short day trip to Champagne. While in Reims, we joined a tour of the Taittinger winehouse, and even though the only spots were on a French-speaking tour, we still found it incredibly interesting. The expanse of tunnels underground beneath these famous winehouses are absolutely astounding. We then hopped on a half-day wine tour where we were taken to some lesser-known but high-quality and delicious producers of champagne, and also visited the burial place of Dom Perignon. While wetting our whistle, this one day was not enough, and we plan to come back here again very soon, so keep an eye out for that vlog.
I just don't think we will ever feel like we have ticked Paris off our list. The city has such an abundance of fascinating history, beautiful architecture, and delicious food. Paris is never a bad idea, and we will most certainly be back soon.